What's up and welcome to Huntxp. Today I'm going to show you my kitted out tethered tree saddle and my one sticking method and everything I carry into the woods with me to do mobile hunting. Welcome to Huntxp, where we're all about leveling up your next hunt. Hey there, JD here from the Huntxp team. I'm doing a video here to break down my mobile hunting whitetail setup. So with this setup that I've got in a backpack, I can get into just about any tree, and I will kind of walk you through the different scenarios that I've encountered using this, using a tree saddle, using a one stick method, and using a couple different methods to get in the places that I want to. So I'm gonna bust this out. I'm gonna show you everything I bring into the field in the bag or plan to this year, this season. And maybe you can drop something in the comments that you like about this, don't like. Maybe you have experience mobile hunting like this and you got some tips to share with me. This is just a system I've settled into. I'm always changing it, always adapting it for new challenges, different things that I'm doing. I also have a complete gear list either in the comments of this video or the blog post at huntxp.com if you're watching it there. If I don't have a link for a specific product that I use, I'll make a recommendation of one that I would buy if I was starting over again. So here we go, let's jump into it. I hunt in the upper Midwest in Wisconsin and Minnesota on a mix of public and private land. And so this is the rig that I'm gonna run this year. And you might right off the bat go, Duluth pack, that's an interesting choice. Part of the reality of this is the backpack I was running forever busted on me. So it's, I'm needing to repair it, but I kind of like the idea of this Duluth pack. It kind of goes back to the basics. It's just one pouch. It's got this material that's great for any weather environment, and it just holds everything real nice. So all I have in here now is my tree saddle, which you'll hear, or you'll see in a little bit, has kind of enough storage on it where I try to take all of my accessories, with the exception of my bow, of course, on my saddle itself or in the pockets of whatever equipment that I'm carrying, just to keep it light. And then on here in the straps, I have my one stick from Eastern Outdoors, and I'll show you how that works or how I carry that. But this is what I would carry into the woods, and this is all I need, plus my bow and camo that I'm wearing. So I got room here to strap an extra jacket, maybe bibs in the wintertime on here as I walk in. And so there's three different scenarios that I will talk through of hunting from, all tree related, tree saddle tree related. The first scenario is pure public land. So in Minnesota, and I believe in Wisconsin too, I can't cut down any limbs. I'm going in blind sometimes to spots that I'm just have done e-scouting on. And that's what this is really set up for. I can take this in and get up about 25 to 30 feet in a tree, any tree, as long as there's kind of some natural shooting lanes and not a ton of obstruction. But what's great about the tree saddle system is those branches aren't gonna stop you, so you don't have to worry about it having a branch-free tree like you do with a climber. I can work around that stuff. So that's scenario number one, just going in. I know I don't have any pre-setup or anything. I just want to hunt a spot that I've e-scouted or I know of before on public land. Scenario number two is private land, or land that I can cut some shooting lanes. I've got a spot, but I've set it up for a tree saddle, not a tree stand. And I'll show you a little bit how I do that. And then I don't need to use the one stick method, even though I use this stick and platform combination. So scenario number three is tree stand already established. So I have some places in Wisconsin where my relatives have put a tree stand up that's either a tried and true place or something we've had the opportunity to prep already. And here's the funny thing about me. I love tree saddles so much. I love the flexibility and shootability of a tree saddle so much that I will put my tree saddle behind a tree stand if the shooting lanes allow, because I love being able to conceal myself behind the tree before the shot. I love to be able to tuck around the tree, draw back out of the side of the buck that's coming, And I just love the versatility and the shootability. So if the scenario allows, I will sometimes bring my tree saddle in, use the ladder system that's already there, and get up behind the tree stand that's there that already has pre-cut shooting lanes, and sit on the back of the tree, or set my tree saddle up on the back of this tree in front of the tree stand. And sometimes I'll even use the tree stand as extra kind of leverage to step around. So that's enough about scenarios. Let's get into the gear. This is what I've got. So like I said, I'm running a Duluth pack, which I love. I'm excited for the simplicity of it and the versatility of it. Kind of like that as I go along as a hunter, the simplicity of things. So let's start with this piece of equipment. So I go in, as I said, this is a one stick when I do one stick method. So that first scenario that I talked about, you'll notice right away, I don't bring in sticks typically. I don't have a system of multiple sticks. I've found this to be my preference. That might change over time, but I can link a video in here about one sticking and how you actually do that on a tree. I don't have a tree to demonstrate that right now, but I can demonstrate this piece of equipment. And this thing is awesome. There's a couple different companies that make a variation of this. This is a combination of platform and stick. So you got this as your rope that goes around the tree, and then it locks in here like this. So you come around the tree, lock it in here like that, and that's what holds it with the pressure down to the tree. And then as you'll notice on the bottom, I've got a 3-step aider on here, which is sweet. What's great about that is that when you're coming into a place, you want to keep quiet as you can, and you want to do the least amount of moving as possible, because typically it's a lot of work to get up in a tree. You don't want to like sweat it out and then get cold right away. So I tried to build a system that was as light as I could go, not a lot of sticks, and as versatile as I could go. And so this 3-step aider really helps because I can get a big movement up the tree, and one full, like setting this on the tree, climbing up to the top platform, and then tethering myself in, popping it off and pulling it up and setting it again, which is a short way of talking you through what one sticking is. The more aider that you can handle, the more distance you can get up the tree in a movement. So like 3 movements of this gets me nearly 20 feet. So it's only 3 full movements and I'm at where I want to be. If it's a shorter scenario, or I can get away around 15 feet, which is the most common, then it's only like 1.5. This is all I bring in typically. The exception would be that scenario, that second scenario that I talked about, where I have either pegs or some sort of strap-on system already in place on a tree that I've prepped, either on private land or if it's something that I can leave up on public land. And then I would bring this in, and I might bring in one of 2 things. Typically, I'm running either a screw-in thing on a private land that I have permission to do that, or one of these things, which is just a simple strap step that I'm building steps up. And what's great about that is it takes away some of the movement of getting into a tree, and if it's a spot you can sneak in there a little bit better. And if you've got these preset either with the screw-in steps, which I use sometimes too, or these sort of steps, typically what I'll do is if I prep the space, I will put these steps a little bit higher than head height so that someone can't just jump up there and hunt that very easily. It's not like a tree stand in the woods that you come upon that someone can randomly hunt. You'd have to have something to get to this first rung. I don't know, I just kind of prefer that level of security if my gear is in an accessible place, even if it's private and there's some wanderers on that land. So I will preset some of these, and then I will bring this along as primarily my platform. And when I get to the top step, I'll be setting this, and then I'll climb up into it. That's where I'll tether and build my tree saddle. In combination with that, I'll bring a simple stick, just one stick. And sometimes I plan it so those steps start one stick up for a little bit of security for my gear. And so you would need a stick to start ascending that tree. So it's just a little trick that I've used that makes me feel comfortable. And then what I'm bringing into the woods is potentially these 2 things, but it's simpler because I only have to set that initial stick and then the platform stick on the top. The other option in that scenario is I could use this stick at the bottom, then I just have to pop it up or pop it off and pull it up the tree with me and then sit at the top step. So you might think that's way too much work to just put the bottom step so you can ascend right away. Certainly I've done that. Certainly you can do that. That's advisable too. So that's how I use those things. Those are the scenarios. Of course, if there's an established tree stand, established ladder system, then I'm just hauling that one stick step up right behind the tree stand. I'm putting that in. I'm standing right behind the tree stand, okay? Let's dive into the saddle itself, which is all that's in this backpack right now. As you can see, I got a little room up top for any extra gear, or I have places to strap on it. Extra clothing or things like that. But like I said, I like to put things in my saddle gear. So here it is. Just gonna run through some modification I've made. So the base model of this is a Tethrd Phantom, which I bought a few years ago. I can put in the post saddles I would recommend from other companies if you want to look around, or you can read a little bit more about what I've written about saddle hunting. But as you can see, when you get a saddle, you're going to get this base saddle here. That's all it's going to come with, and then you can add additions, these pouches, which is what I've done. Some saddle makers are creating packages or certain saddles that have these pre-sewn into them, which I think is pretty nifty. That didn't really exist, or I didn't really find it when I was getting into tree saddling. So I've just made a bunch of modifications to this. There's a lot here. I've developed this system, and you might be looking at this and be like, man, that's heavy. You're right. I've kind of gone on the heavier side of things with my mobile setup for the amenities that come with that weight. But you might be even more mobile and say, I care about being lightweight. I'm trying to simplify this. So maybe you can put in the comments how you simplify this process, or how I could even do that. So let's walk through this. I want to start with this strap. This is a modification. So this is a basically simple overall strap. Tethrd actually makes these now. I got it from First Light as an accessory, and I just strapped it right on these loops that are on the back of the saddle. I've got a dad bod.
Is he asleep? No. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
So it's great because it slips a little bit in general, but honestly not that much. What I really bought that for was long walks in the winter time when I have layering on. So you might wait to put the saddle on under your tree. That might create an extra noise. So I tend to put it on at the truck before I walk in, because that's also a way I carry some of my gear. When you do that, it doesn't hold as snug as you'd think it would. Maybe it will on your body, it just doesn't on mine. Hey, no shade in the comments for that. I put that on there and it just holds it steady on your body. It fits better, feels more like a workman's belt or a tool belt that you might be using through the day. So that's a good addition, and I recommend it if you're thinking about saddle hunting. So how I've set this up is I've got 3 pouches. First off, this pouch, which would be on my left hip, I have in this pouch already attached where it needs to be my lineman's rope. This is typically what you use ascending, like sticks, steps, or the first movement in the one sticking method. You're going to use this rope. I've made a modification. It comes with that Perusic knot, I think is how I say that on the bottom. I've just left that. But what I've used instead is a combination of a carabiner, and then I have 2 of these on this setup. This Ropeman. It's a Ropeman device from Wild Country. And I have 2 of these that I run in here, and what this enables me to do is pretty quietly and efficiently adjust. With these Perusic knots, you can get good at that, but it's a little bit of finagling, adjusting the length of the rope. And with these Ropemans, man, they're so simple. So of course, there's no tension when you pull it this way. That's gonna catch. But when you pull this little latch, then it just adjusts. So simple. And I gotta tell you, in the tree, you can just, when you got it around you, like pull this to adjust it tighter. And then the ability to just pop this little loop and make it wider is so nice in the tree. So you're not fiddling around with ropes. So that's on that side. That's gonna be my lineman sticking out that side. Also, I typically will have in this pouch a wicked saw if I'm on private land and I need to trim some stuff in the tree on the way up, or if I have legally the ability to do that, I have that handy in my pack all the time. I was prepping some stands, so I don't have it in there now, but I'll keep that on this. I'm gonna see this drop out. This is a great addition. Sometimes these come in saddle packages if you're just getting started, but this is a back aid essentially, and this hooks in to your saddle where you clip into the tether. And if you're on longer sits, and I use this quite a bit actually, you can toss this around your back and then clip right in to where your tether is connected to the tree. Huge help, good buy, maybe even something you could DIY, but I'll put a link for that. And so I just roll that up, keep that in with my linesman on my left-hand side. Going around the back here, my back pouch. Okay, so what I have in my back pouch, a couple things. First I have, I'll pull this out, but I typically leave this just in that back pouch and I actually feed it out of it like this. This is a line, a retractable line. It's called a hunting hoist, and this is 30 feet long. And this is what I will initially tag to my bow or anything I want to pull up once I'm up. I'll put that on my bow. And then it just sits in this back pouch and I've got this closed. And as I ascended the tree, this is just getting longer and longer because that bow is adding pressure. And then when I'm ready, I just pull that right up. It's also useful to either pull down your one sticking rope, which I'll show you in a little bit, or to let down your bow or whatever accessory at the end. So that's great. Oftentimes I'll also carry some extra paracord in case this fails or I drop it, just so I have a backup to do that. If you got any other ideas about how to hoist things up and down or things that you like, drop that in the comments as well. Okay, once I'm up on the tree in the back, I'll reach back behind me here and I'll grab this little doohickey here. Oh man, a doohickey. So this is just a gear hanger for public land settings where you don't have the luxury of having like a bow hanger pre-screwed in or stuff like that. So this straps around it just about any tree, and it's got hooks that will pop out due to pressure or with pressure. This bigger one I use for my bow, so I've got it positioned so that, and then I got 3 hooks for backpack, bino, harness, any other gear that I want to hook up and put right in front of me. Sometimes I'll strap a GoPro if I'm self-filming on one of these hooks as an anchor point if there's not really a good branch for it. This is super handy, stays in my back pouch. It is the first and typically last thing to go up into the tree when I'm setting up and I'm in position. Got some, oh, milkweed. Bunch of milkweed back here for wind stuff, just some extra. I have something in my bino harness, but do that. Okay, we're all the way to the left-hand side now. Right-hand side, dyslexic. Right-hand side, I got 2 rope options in here. That's how I have it in here now because it's pre-season. But typically what I would do is either put the rope that I need in here, or I would just leave them both in here. Again, a weight issue. If you want to trim down on weight, you don't have to either. And then on the side here, I'll typically do that extra paracord that I talked about as an extra utensil or tool to move things up and down the tree once I'm in. So let me show you this first rope first, and this is scenario based, which one you'd actually use. So this first rope is the rope that I keep in here for if I'm one sticking. And if you're gonna one stick, again, I can't demonstrate it here, but you're gonna need a rope for as high, if not higher, than you wanna be in the tree. So this is a 30-foot rope. Cruiser sells this. I can put a link into it. There's a couple other places you can get this. And I usually go with this thinner diameter rope. Maybe you think that's a bad idea. A lot of people like the thicker diameter rope. This thinner stuff I just like better, with a strong carabiner that's climbing class, that's gonna hold your weight. As I'm ascending the tree, I'm using this tether to tether myself in, and then reach down, pop up my one stick. See that little loop on top? I pop that off the tree, and then I can move it up above me and then climb again, retether. So again, I can send a link for demonstration. Okay, so that's where that goes. So again, this just goes around the tree. I loop this through, this hangs around the tree, and this acts as my tether, and this is where I connect in, and I can show you how to do that in a little bit. So longer rope. Second option here in the right-hand pouch is the standard tether rope that comes with, or you can purchase on Tethrd. And so this is gonna have a Perusic knot for adjustment here on the bottom, and this is how you're gonna loop this around the tree. And it goes in and around just like that, and then you tie in here with your carabiner or whatever you're working with. So I carry this in the scenarios where I already have a ladder to ascend or descend, so those 2 scenarios. If I'm hunting behind a tree stand that's already posted, or already have a ladder system, I'll use this. Okay, let me show you this bridge that I've kind of modified here. And there's two things I want to show you. So this is the carabiner that I've constructed and used that goes in with my tether. So obviously a good strong, I believe this is a standard Tethrd carabiner that they carry on their site. As you'll notice, or you probably already been noticed, I use this stealth tape, and I've got to redo this because you can hear all the clinks. But I do this to dampen noise because there's nothing like a cold November morning and then a bunch of metal noise going in, which is sometimes worse in tree stand situations, but it can be kind of a problem if you don't kind of foresee that here. This is an important addition that I think is a great accessory to add, and I'll show you why. This is the Madrock Safegaurd. And what this is gonna allow you to do is you're gonna feed your tether through this Madrock Safegaurd. And this is particularly crucial if you're one sticking, because this is basically how you belay down the tree when you're done, is this mechanism here. But this is a great thing. You wrap your tether rope through this, tighten it up, and then you can just pull on the rope to tighten things up and just release the rope little by this lever right here. Okay, so that goes in here. I keep that constantly clipped the whole time, just on the little loop on the right-hand side of my thing. And then whenever I'm ready, I'll use it. A couple other additions here. I have modified this. Your bridge typically comes with a Perusic knot as well, an adjustment, which I've left on there. But I replaced one of these Wild Country Ropeman ones on here as well for the same convenience as I explained before. If you want to adjust your bridge, it is so much easier to just pull on the loose end or release this on the tight end than fidgeting with a Perusic knot, which is possible. So there you go, there's the breakdown of my Phantom saddle mod. Got any questions, drop those in the comments. If you got any suggestions for me, I'm always open to learning. I love this system, I like it a lot, but I will always be modifying it. That's the beauty of mobile hunting. Had a lot of fun killing deer in this thing. I just have a lot of fun being in a tree. You feel like a woods ninja when you're climbing the tree. It's great. As I said, all the gear I can think of in the description of this video or in the blog post that you're reading it. If you don't know who we are Huntxp. We exist to help you level up your hunting game. We're excited to bring reviews like this in the future. So if you found this really valuable, like, subscribe, do all the things you know to do. Share some love in the comments or some shade, and we'll have a good laugh about it. Let me know how you set things up, how you do things differently, what you like about this, what you don't like about it. Next time.